A place people die in should never be allowed to get that dark. The Power is a Shudder exclusive, written and directed by Karina Faith. Stars Rose Williams as Val, who's a young Catholic devout woman that is a nurse, gets a job in Britain at a hospital in 1974, and unfortunately at the worst time, according to Matron, played by Devine Henry, because the trade unions and the government are at war with each other, and the government is responding by being dicks by doing rolling blackouts to conserve power, but they're really just being dicks, just to fuck with people, and that's fucking with places like this hospital that Val's going to be working at. So, as Matron tells her, we're going to be moving most of the patients out. You picked the worst day to basically want to start your job, but okay, we need the staff. But I don't really have time to introduce, somebody to all the, low ins and outs here, so you're going to have to rely on the staff. You're going to have to do this. Don't step out of line. Keep your skirt 3 inches below the knee, all that stuff, because the whole men versus women thing really gets worked to death in this movie, but not like Black Christmas 2019. So Val is all happy to have this opportunity. Unfortunately, the doctors, sans one, are not very nice to her, and a lot of the nurses, including Terry, played by Nuala McGowan, and Comfort, I'm not even going to try to pronounce her name, I would totally screw it up, but both actresses were terrific in their roles. She tries to make friends with people because she just wants to do good things. Also, she does have a bit of a dark past, as we find out a little bit later on. And as the hospital goes into basically shutdown with a few patients, but most of the patients out, since there's a few generators to keep some people, on life support systems alive, which is a really good thing to do when you're on life support. There's only a few generators and only a few electrified areas in the hospital, and everything else has to basically be navigated by candles or lanterns. And there's other creepy people there, and also some weird noises, and a lot of really, really, good atmospheric shots and everything. I'm just going to say it right now. I love this. I thought The Power was fucking great. I haven't seen a Shudder exclusive that I've enjoyed like this since The Cleansing Hour. I really enjoyed that. Check out my review of that on the movie reviews playlist if you would like. But Karina Faith knocks it out of the goddamn park. Rose Williams captures Val's strife from her past and just wanting to do good and do some good things and not understanding her surroundings because she's at this new place and doesn't understand all this stuff going on, why this is happening to her. She captures it beautifully. I want to see more stuff that Rose Williams is in. Please let me know some stuff in the comments because I've heard the name and I swear I've seen her in something before, but I can't place it. She was phenomenal in this. And the other actors were good as well. There was some really, really good acting in this. And it was only 93 minutes. And yes, it does do the men, the men bad, women good thing, but also there are, shades of gray. There's some good stuff here, and you can see as conflicted and as, I guess, fractured as some people could be. You can see how some that don't seem all that good actually do turn out to be good, and there's some good complexity to the characters despite the fact it's only 93 minutes, and once the credits start rolling, I think it was about 88 minutes, but really, goddamn well done. Karina Faith does some great shit here, and the cinematography is beautifully done. The fact that they do these long shots down the hallway and everything, and you get to see where you're just kind of looking. My only real complaints about this movie are some scenes were a little bit too dark, and I get that's the point. You're supposed to scare the actors, but it's like, if I can't see what's going on, then I'm like, okay, eventually I'm like, I gotta see a little bit of something. Like, I can only look for so long, but that's a minor quibble. I'm not going to knock that. It's also obvious this movie had a bit of a small budget. And they had to work with what they had. And Val, through all this, the character of Val just has, great confliction about, like, what she's dealing with, having flashbacks to her past, stuff that she may or may not actually be imagining. There may be stuff going on that she, doesn't understand. And what in the world, why is this hospital seemingly trying to swallow her whole? Why is this happening? Because this stuff didn't happen before. Even Comfort says, I've worked here for years, and you get to see some weird stuff happen, but I've never seen stuff like this happen. So from there, we do get some familiar territory. I won't say that the movie is entirely unpredictable, but I will say as far as the predictability, they handled it as well as they could. And the Revelation reminded me of 32 Malisana Street, which, ended up with a bit of confliction with why the particular, why the hauntings were happening for the reasons they were happening. And that's a movie I highly recommend also. It's on Shudder. But I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed the crisp writing, the great directing, the cinematography. Rose Williams doing a phenomenal fucking job. I'm trying to struggle with the words here. As Val, she does really, really good. And I want to see more stuff that she's in. But the rest of the cast, Devine Henry in the, small role she has as matron. I mean, it's a big role, but as far as screen time, it's not necessarily the biggest role. She makes her scenes work as well. there's a lot of really, really good acting here, and some people really acting like bitches, and boy, some fucked up shit really starts to happen in the second half. But anyway, I am going to get into spoilers here, but I highly recommend you guys check this out. Very, very well done, but I am going to get into spoilers. So anyway, 3, 2, 1, and go, go. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. Spoilers? Okay, if you're still here, we're getting to spoilers. Okay, so Val has a bit of a past where she was at a, since she was a devout Catholic, she was with some people at, among some nuns and stuff like that. And the nuns and other girls didn't treat her all that well, including the character of Babs, played by Emma Rigby, who she meets a little bit later on, and they have a bit of a past, and Emma's like, well, you were the kind to lie about stuff, and you try to say you're all goody two-shoes and stuff like that. There's something about Val lying about something in her past, but did she really lie? Earlier in the film, she meets a young Indian girl named Saba that comes back to play in this movie numerous times. She's a central character, and the young girl playing her does a really good job as well. Sometimes it's hard to get child actors to do good stuff. I don't know her name. She summons the energy and the passion to do really, really well as a conflicted child that is just, she knows what's going on, but since English is her second language, she can only communicate so much. I don't know what language she's speaking because there's a bunch of languages over there in India, but a nurse must give of herself entirely. How much are you willing to sacrifice, says Matron. I mean, there's a lot about sacrifice, like women having to do things basically to themselves that they shouldn't have to do. I mean, and that's another theme that gets worked to death on this. I will say right now in the spoiler, before I get too far, if you or somebody you know experience any kind of sexual assault or any kind of stuff like that, you probably don't want to watch this. They don't show anything graphic, but it's the implications and the grossness of some of it where it makes your skin crawl. Like, how can people do that kind of shit, and how people can somehow live with that, or just somehow move on, or continue to live on despite dealing with that. It's like, however you want to word it, it's just amazing, and nobody deserves to have to go through that. And just the fact that these characters capture well from Val to others, good God. Saba has a bit of a drawing book that it looks like there's a whole bunch of dark pictures and stuff like that, like scratched out stuff, but there's hidden meanings behind it, because if you just erase it, you might find, it's like hidden picture stuff. So anyway, because the power is getting shut out, there's these creepy red lights that are used for the generators, because apparently that's standard in a 1974 horror movie, and that's to keep people on life support alive, which is a good thing to do, otherwise it's not life support. And there are candles and lanterns that have to be used, and there's this weird creepy character of Neville that might as well have plastered across his forehead, I'm going to hurt you. I'm not going to say the actual word, but I'm going to assault you, basically. I'll just say that, because it's the same damn thing. I'm not saying the actor, I'm saying the character, because, he practically does it without actually doing it on the camera, which is a good thing, because I might have shut it off, because I barely could take that with Last House on the Left. Oh, boy. But anyway, Comfort takes a bit of a liking to Val, and, realizes that, hey, there is some good in you. And Babs knew her from, the previous, earlier in her life and everything, and talks about all that stuff I talked about a bit ago. Babs is about, at first she seems kind of nice, and then, maybe she's got a reason to be upset. Maybe Val wronged her, or maybe Babs has had her own bad shit happen. And basically, we get a lot of heavy breathing, ghostly singing. We get some weird black stuff on the vents. What the hell's going on there? Maybe somebody needs to clean the furnace, so don't worry, I'll talk about that. And a healthy dose of racism, like a Hispanic slur that I'm not going to say, and please don't say it in the comments. He then basically forces Babs to do a desk dance for him, and says, I can take her down a peg or two, just ask Nev. Okay, Nev, good God. And they argue again, even though Val was trying to make good and make sure that Babs was okay. Babs says, hey, why don't you go get some charts in the basement? A bit of the dark won't hurt you. A little bit of the ultra darkness. So Nev's just very creepy. He says, you're soiled goods anyway. That's a great way. Man, we got a lot of creepy guys in this. And earlier in the movie, while she was talking to that girl, Saba, and I should set this, she met a guy named Dr. Franklin, who is basically Zachary Quinto's character from American Horror Story Asylum. If you get it, you get it. Because he seemed to have a really, really nice exterior, and he loved working with children. A little bit too much, if you know what I mean. And the actor captures, the creepiness really well, I will say that. Then Val's she basically escapes from Neville. She sees in the basement, oh, there's this weird, creepy dog toy. What the hell's going on? I'll go touch it. Oh, I got assaulted. What the hell? She has some weird flashbacks to stuff, and then also some weird visions of somebody, poking out Bab's eyes, just doing this and this kind of stuff. And I don't know what the hell was going on there. We find out a little bit later. What's actually happening here? Why is she imagining this stuff? Or is she imagining it? She tells Terry in comfort that she saw something, but then changes her mind. I faked it. And then Saba's running around. Well, you look at that, Terry says. Snow White has a way with the animals. Again, another healthy dose of racism. I don't think Terry should really be talking about animals. I mean, seriously, that's an animalistic way to view people. So Saba basically, she's drawn the dark in this book, and so again, we find out a little bit later what's going on. Val then ends up getting controlled by the dark and basically gets possessed, and even she basically is like, getting all creepy, and who's possessing her? Or is Val making this up? Is she schizophrenic? What's going on here? Saba basically helps her come back. Terry runs off, which Terry is the smartest character at this point, and then she chases Saba through some sheets. Oh, sheets. A lot of bed sheets there. It was like The Conjuring. I don't really get it. And then pick of the character called Dirty Gale, who was a girl that was at the hospital, even though people deny she was. That Saba says, I would tell you, but bad things will happen to me. And then the black stuff continues to float around. Basically, this ghost is saying, you will pay attention to me. And then she possesses Val again and makes her stab her goddamn leg. Also, Comfort basically tells Val that, hey, she's a rotten apple. What the hell are you doing? You don't care about this girl. She ran away. Except she didn't. And Comfort knows that and pays for it. Val then is getting possessed. She puts a needle in Comfort's neck, and she's all Novocained up. This is all during in the maternity ward, so I guess the kids just were able to get the formula themselves. I hope the kids were okay, because that was a bit much. There were no animals harmed in making this film. I don't even think there were any animals in this film, except the ones that the very racist characters referred to. That was bad. And Gale possesses Val again. How much is that? Val in the window? Oh, she broke it. Babs is like, Gale, I didn't do anything to you. It was him. It was him. Who's him? Girls. Wait, wrong him. So then Comfort tries to escape out a window because Saba won't come with her and breaks her leg, seemingly. Just dies off camera. And Babs is found at the bottom of the stairs. Oh no, what's going on here? Blind people probably shouldn't use stairs or flamethrowers. In fact, most people that can see shouldn't use flamethrowers, but I digress. Saba talks about, oh, you're good. I'm not, says Val. She can see that, and that's why she's using me to get what she wants. And then we get a montage of what happened and what, happened to Gale. Gale was assaulted by somebody, but who was it? It was Dr. Franklin. In case you didn't get the whole Zachary Quinto comparison, it was Dr. Franklin. And boy, he turns up the creep factor later. The angels, will out to guide me. That was some pretty good stuff right there. Val has blood on her hands. Oh, she thinks that she killed Saba. No, she didn't. And then she's basically told to listen. Listen is carved into her stomach so she can see it when she looks down. Pretty impressive for that ghost to carve shit upside down. Bad tattoo artist, though. Anyway, so she's basically being interrogated. Val is, because she woke up. Her two co-workers are dead. What the hell's going on? And it turns out that Saba was hidden. This doctor translates for her because he's Hindi. And that it turns out she was okay. But we all knew where this was going. There's nothing wrong with doing the cliches, but well, it was the doctor who did the abuse, and Dr. Franklin, and then he goes basically all creepy, has Saba just stand there and say, hey, sit there, and basically, I'm going to take this person away that could save you, and then I'm going to continue to abuse you when I take you in the car to this other hospital. He doesn't say that, but that's the implication. And then he basically tries to chase Val around after trying to get Val to listen to him, but no, you're not going to force me to do what you want to do. You will listen to me, and then you will listen to us, and Gale possesses Val. They scream him to death, and then he's found dead. And then voices are calling this doctor that basically has overseen the whole thing and knew all this stuff happened. And they said, oh, you will get used to us. And it's like, you will hear us. You will know what's going on. And watch out for the dark. And that's basically it right there. That is the end of The Power. It gets an A. It's really, really goddamn good. I love this. Karina Faith did phenomenal work here, writing and directing, and Rose Williams deserves accolades for this. This was a really good performance. I want to see her in more stuff. Anyway, agree, disagree what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.